Whether you like it or not, you can never deny the fact that Godzilla is one of the most legendary monster creatures in the history of comics. With its massive size, destructive powers, and symbolism for the modern world, it has become a huge sensation since its first appearance in the 1954 Japanese movie Kaiju. This humongous monster can create massive destruction no matter what comes its way, including the mightiest heroes of Earth, the Avengers. While crossovers are not a new thing to the Marvel Universe, in the number 23 and number 24 issues of Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 1977, the mightiest Avengers of Earth found themselves fighting this creature, who showed them what it takes to defeat one of the most iconic monsters of all time. So, without further delay, let's find out in this video what really happened with Godzilla. Did the Avengers win over him, or did they lose to this formidable creature? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Story time. When Godzilla first attacked the Fantastic Four in the number 22 issue of the Godzilla, King of the Monsters series, the Godzilla Squad, which mainly consisted of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, was gathered to face the monster and figure out a way to control it. The team came up with the idea of using Pym particles to momentarily shrink to the size of an insect, as we all have seen in the films. Ant-Man uses the same Pym particle to shrink himself into an ant, and the particle was also used in Avengers Endgame to time travel and get the Infinity Stones back to turn back the results of the blip. But surprisingly, the Pym particle couldn't harm the creature. Reed Richards, from the famous Fantastic Four, tries to transport the creature back to a prehistoric era using Dr. Doom's time machine, but eventually fails to do so, bringing Godzilla back into New York City again. A monster attacks. When Godzilla came into present-day New York City, the creature gained its previous self because of the Pym particle Reed Richards used on it. The Godzilla Squad, consisting of Dum Dum Dugan, Hugh Howards, and Gabe Jones, starts firing on Godzilla to destroy it. But if you have the slightest idea about how a Godzilla's metabolism works, you know for sure that he gets more powerful with radiation. There have been a few instances where this furious creature has survived nuclear radiation by absorbing the energy. Seeing the city in danger, Reed asks Johnny Storm, aka Human Torch, to assemble the Avengers to fight against Godzilla, and he goes to the Baxter Building to get Sue and Ben. Johnny gathers Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Yellow Jacket, and Wasp onto the battlefield. Everyone, except Cap and Wanda, flies into the sky to fight Godzilla. Cap and Wanda stay back, because there are problems around the world other than fighting a kaiju, right? But to their surprise, Godzilla has turned into an even bigger beast than it was before. With the constant radiation and energy it is receiving from the bullets fired by the Godzilla Squad, Godzilla grows bigger and bigger with every fire. Thor acts as the group's leader and calls for an attack on the kaiju, but with a single blast of its atomic flames, it manages to slow down the likes of Iron Man, Vision, and Thor. The only superhero who survived the creature's breath was the Human Torch, but Kaiju pulled him aside. Seeing this, the mighty Thor manages to hit Godzilla with a powerful strike with his hammer. Although this wasn't enough to defeat the monster, it slowed it down for a bit. We know how powerful Thor can get if he uses his godly anger at times, failing to cause any harm to the creature. The Avenger can now only rely on Wasp and Yellow Jacket to help in the battle. Yellow Jacket and Wasp shrink themselves down and enter Godzilla's ears, which causes extreme vertigo in its brain, and it jumps into the ocean. Godzilla returns. Soon after the Wasp and Yellow Jacket threw Godzilla into the ocean, he emerged, stronger and angrier. He starts destroying everything that comes in front of his eyes. It starts destroying the buildings with its atomic breath, full of rage. The team quickly realized that Godzilla was merely an angry animal, rather than an actual monster fueled by evil. The God of Thunder starts having doubts about his own capability to defeat Godzilla, even though he has fought several monsters in Asgard. The Avengers are ultimately compelled to focus more on damage control, while attempting to rescue bystanders caught in the havoc caused by the creature's wake. Meanwhile, Godzilla starts moving towards the Empire State Building. I guess every creature has some kind of fascination with this building somehow. The Avengers start attacking him again to stop him from destroying the monumental building at any cost, but Godzilla starts blowing him crazy atomic breaths on them. The Human Torch and Reeds try their best to stop him, but fail to do so. Unable to sustain Godzilla's immense heat and rage, the crowd starts jumping off the building. Seeing this, Iron Man jumps in to save them from death. With his humongous body, Godzilla starts banging his head on the Empire State Building to destroy it. Seeing this, Thor realizes he must use all of his tremendous power to prevent the Empire State Building from collapsing. He even conjures a vortex using his mystical weapon, Mjolnir. but nothing could beat the monstrous creature. He then comes in to physically save the building from destruction, but he soon realizes that their combined physical strength might be almost equal. The ripple effect. The young Rob Takiguchi, a young Japanese boy who had been traveling with the Godzilla squad and had developed a bond with the creature, begs Dugan not to attack Godzilla. He even tells Dugan that violence isn't the only way to solve problems, and Americans learn nothing from their history with violence. But being the man of action, Dugan ignores everything Rob says to him and removes him from his eyesight. The situation drastically reduced into massive chaos, and every superhero started using their powers to stop Godzilla, without realizing the fact that they were trying to make it angrier than before, which was going to cause them more trouble. While Rob is taken away from Dugan, he successfully escapes and goes to the roof of the helicarrier. He started calling Godzilla's name aloud to get its attention, and he was ultimately able to get close enough to speak with Godzilla. He successfully persuades it with his kindness and the power of humanity to stop him from destroying the city and returning to the wild. In the end, Godzilla returns to the ocean peacefully, leaving the city to itself. Marvelous verdict. This issue was a take on humanity and the power it holds against all odds. It shows how violence is not the only way to stop anything, be it a monster or anything that can be done with a little bit of kindness. We have seen in the past how evil creatures have stood against humanity and have created a nuisance just for their personal gain. But in this case, an innocent, though it's an arguable statement to make as Godzilla did create some destruction, it's an animal fueled with anger to save itself from the danger it faced in an unknown land. When Godzilla arrives in the chaotic city, the creature has no other way to fight back and escape from the powers of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and S.H.I.E.L.D. However, through his selfless act of showcasing empathy, Rob manages to save New York City from the wrath of Godzilla, which some of the most powerful superheroes in Marvel couldn't pull off with their superpowers. This issue also gave us the example of how, in a world filled with conflicts, a small act of kindness can provide victory, and how even a monster can be swayed by the value of compassion. So, this is it for today. Check out our exclusive content on our channel, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on our videos to let us know what you think of them. See ya!